from Norway. The Indian couple there have been convicted by a court in Oslo for child abuse.
The Oslo court has sentenced the father of that child to 18 months in jail. The mother has been convicted of child abuse, sentenced to 15 months in jail. Earlier, Norwegian prosecutors had said that there was evidence that the 7-year-old child had been abused. They were talking about burn marks and also that he had been beaten by a belt. Let's get more from Suhasini Haidar. Suhasini, this would be desperately sad news for the family concerned. They were very anxious after that verdict did not come out last evening, perhaps expecting the worst.
Well, absolutely, and Parul, the sentencing itself seems to have been on expected lines. This is the maximum punishment the Norwegian prosecution had petitioned for, and in fact was quite clear that they expected to get it, given not just Norway's very strict laws when it comes to children and the rights of children, but also on the basis of what they consider very strong evidence that the child in question, the 7-year-old boy, had in fact been subjected to sustained child abuse. They spoke about the fact that he had been burnt on occasion, and it certainly was not as mild as had been suggested by the Indian grandparents of the child earlier. Remember, the children themselves are in India with their grandparents in Andhra Pradesh, but the couple had gone back to Norway, perhaps hoping that the charges against them would have been completely dropped. But the Norwegian prosecutor's office decided to take a fairly strong stand, petitioning for specifically 18 months and 15 months for this couple, and that's what seems to have been handed down to them.
So, Hasani, what sort of legal recourse does the family now have?
Well, we had spoken to their lawyer a few days ago, and she had been very clear that no matter what the verdict was, there would be a case for legal appeals, and they would continue to appeal that. She also felt that their arrest itself had been illegal, given the fact that they had been let off in this particular case a few months ago, when they had after which they had left Norway. So their lawyer certainly quite convinced that they still have avenues of appeal. The Indian government, as we said, had been giving them consular help and had offered all kinds of support when it came to legal support. But in this particular case, the Indian government not wanting to intervene diplomatically because they felt that this couple had been in trouble with the Norwegian government in the past.
The prosecution in its charge had proposed to the courts that they should impose Section 219 of the Penal Code according to the Norwegian law. According to this law, they have been charged with gross or repeated maltreatment of their son, 7-year-old Sriram. So, according to the evidence which the police has gathered, the couple had in fact inflicted certain burn marks on their child. That is the police version, according to their statement that they took from the child, as well as they used to occasionally threaten and scold their child, which is the case against the couple in the evidence that the prosecution had recorded. So these are pretty much the allegations against the couple, and the court has taken the prosecution's case seriously, and of course now in the verdict they face 18 and 16 months respectively for Chandrasekhar as well as Anupama.
He's very sad and he's very depressed right now. He's talking about the incidents, what happened in the court, and none of the considerations were taken up from these people's end, and only the prosecutor's end was given as a judgment.
So he feels the trial in that sense was not so fair, that his version and Anupama's version were not so well heard.
Yeah, they're not well heard and they're not well present. I don't know, because he's only specific. He's very specific about the considerations that the lawyer has made on their part. They have been not considered, and only the considerations of the prosecutor has been taken, and the judgment was negative right now.
In the public domain, the prosecutor spoke about multiple injuries, but in the conviction statement that doesn't seem to suggest that way at all. It only speaks about one scar. A short while ago, you were also showing me the children and saying that actually the younger one has no scars at all. The elder one has one scar on his right leg, and that also in some other circumstances.
Yes, that was some other circumstances what Sriram has got, but
it was an accident.
It was an accident. But what we are always thinking about Sriram right now. What about Abhiram right now? we are violating the child acts of Abhiram right now by separating the parents. So we have to see in the point of view of Abhiram right now, and we have to look for his parental guidance. So whatever the guidance we give, whatever the care we give is not sufficient to him. And only the Nava government itself said to Sriram, the parental guidance is the only way